How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to WM Entertainment Overwatch. My name is Priest, and today I thought I'd bring you guys another Overwatch guide. This is going to be the first guide on the channel that we cover of Ashe, and this is going to be the Advanced Ashe guide. So if you guys go to enjoy, make sure you pop a like, comment, and subscribe to WM Entertainment. Support is 110% greatly appreciated. And let's get into the big conversation of our newest sniper that has been added to the game. It has been introduced in BlizzCon, Ashe. Okay guys, so Ashe is not your normal sniper. Her gun is a pretty interesting gun. It's a very accurate. It can be very fast firing in the semi-automatic, as you guys see right there. It's a very fast gun, and since this is the advanced guide, we're going to be talking a little bit about the weapons and skills that she uses, and we're going to mainly talk about how to play her effectively. And if you guys are maybe possibility looking to become a main Ashe, then that is what you need to do. So these are her moves. Pause the video and take a screenshot or look at them right there, and we're going to be getting into each of these. So we'll start with your positioning with Ashe. So that's what we usually do in the advanced guides. We talk about positioning over the actual kit itself. So positioning with Ashe is very important. Obviously, she's a sniper, so she's going to be far back. She's not going to be up front in the heat of battle, which that's where no sniper should be. But Ashe is takes the DPSing past the sniper category and more into her own terms. Ashe can be very useful in close range and point blank range just as much as she is distance. I recommend using the crosshairs that you see in the gameplay right here for your sights with Ashe, because it brings you more of an accuracy. And if you have the dot, make sure your dot size is on the smallest you can get, because that's obviously going to help you guys out in the long run. So as I said, you need to be far back, but if you have to get up close and personal, there's nothing wrong with that with Ashe. You can get up close and personal as much as you need to. Okay, so Ashe is kind of like Junkrat. She can get in positions that not everybody in the game can. She has her own unique areas that she can get to, like up near the top, where people like Reinhardt and Brigitte may not be able to take her out. And that is 100% useful. So I would 100% recommend that she use it. And you guys can also do what I just did, and I countered their Reinhardt. I threw Bob out there, and then he had to turn his shield, so I was able to take him out. Positioning with Bob is also very important, and we'll be getting into Bob later on in the video. So after our conversation about positioning, the next topic that we need to discuss in today's video is going to be your role as an Ashe. Your role as an Ashe is obviously to be taking out the DPSs in the game. That's what Ashe needs to do. She has to be able to take out the other DPSs in the game, so that her team can set up a better attacking area. That's what Ashe is very much used for, and that is where I would recommend you guys use her the most. You can see in this point blank range, Ashe is pretty good, except the terrible accuracy, and then the entire team came in. When you are spamming the trigger in close point blank range, Ashe is still deadly. However, she's not going to hit every shot, and you need to be aware of that. You need to be aware that you're not going to be able to nail every shot with Ashe. And she's not like Widowmaker. Her scope doesn't zoom in that much. It's more of just a little small zoom, and which is also extremely 110% useful. I actually like this scope better than say Widow's scope. I just think that Ashe is more useful for certain aspects that Widowmaker may not be able to handle. Okay, so since you guys know that your main target is the DPSs in the game, what else do you need to know with Ashe? She is the leader of the Deadlock Gang, which includes McCree. So Jesse McCree is obviously working for Ashe. So if you guys get those two together, it's going to be a pretty devastating team you have in your hands. Just a little bit of a backstory in our advanced guide. Okay, so we're going to slightly discuss the moves. Since I said Ashe uses her coach gun to blast her up in the air and also blast enemies back, which can be used for those famous environmental kills that Ashe ever loves so much to do. Environmental kills is what pretty much makes Ashe as powerful as she is, and don't mess up with Bob, because positioning in Bob is going to be a very interesting topic that we may discuss later on in this video. Due to the fact of how devastating Ashe is and how devastating Bob is, to get those prig team kills with Bob isn't going to be an easy task. It's going to be dang near impossible, but I do have 100% faith that you guys can handle this. Ashe's coach gun could also be used to get the TNT exploding as well. And we'll discuss that further on in the video as well. So, your counters. Obviously, Tracer is not going to be somebody you want to match up with when you're Ashe. But when you are Ashe, it is your job, and your job only, to take out Pharah. Ashe and Bastion are pretty much the only people that are meant to take out Pharah. So if you do see a Pharah around, and you need to know that it is your job, you need to go after her and take her out of the game. So like I said, I was going to show you this. The coach gun blasts enemies in front of you and knock yourself back. So that's basically kind of like Junkrat's mine, so you can blast himself up in the air. Your dynamite is a big kit tool that you're going to use 100% effectively. And another thing you'll be able to use is the Viper, which is your gun. We're going to be going into the gun use a little bit more since they did increase her reload time in the latest Overwatch updates, which was much needed. She had a very slow reload when she first came out, and since it got buffed, it is 100% better for her. So Ashe is a very good hero. If you guys didn't get my drift of that, you should really use Ashe to take out Pharah. That is pretty much your only job to do as an Ashe. Pharah is your main concern, so be wary. Okay guys, so let's continue on with this guide. Okay, so Ashe's coach gun. Like I said, a counter to you is obviously Tracer. Tracer is a major counter to Ashe. So if you see a Tracer, I would just 100% recommend that you don't even bother with her. Know that it is not your job to take out Tracer, so you really don't gotta worry about it. Okay, with that being said, TNT. TNT could be used 100% to destroy an enemy team. If you throw your TNT close, if you have like Junkrat's the enemy and you throw your TNT, you can also use your coach gun to blow it up before it even hits the ground, which would be 100% useful. So make sure you guys do use that as well. So Ashe, it is really not your job to go right up on a payload. You should be back or up top, where you can actually take out the enemy team. That's the big thing for Ashe. She needs to be able to take a spot with the enemy team. Counters to Ashe can also include shield tanks. Shield tanks are major counters to Ashe because there's really nothing she can do against a tank. And I saw there, I did use that combo. You saw I threw the TNT before it hit the ground. I popped it with my coach gun, and that did take out the enemy Reinhardt. So that's probably one of the most deadly things Ashe can do for up close point blank range. If you really don't feel like having to aim towards your TNT to shoot it, it's even more effective to use it that way. So Bob. A lot of people are talking about Hero 30 being Bob, but obviously that was untrue since it was Sigma. A lot of the talk about Bob being a hero in the game, I really don't think is going to happen. I really don't think Bob is going to be a hero in the game, and I really don't think he should be, because if they did, they might have to change Ashe's ult and take Bob out of it. because that's kind of weird how she would have a actual hero as her ultimate. It would be kind of being like it kind of be like Genji summoning Hanzo for his all. Nobody wants to see that. So Ashe is just a complete devastation, and we're going to be getting into the conversation about Bob and the placement of Bob. I recommend placing Bob up against a wall so you can't overshoot him past all the enemies in the game. Because if you pass Bob over all the enemies, then you're not going to have a very fun time trying to take care of him all yourself. Bob is meant to do all the work for you. And like you just saw right there, I did place him up against the wall, so it made it a little bit easier for him to take out, except the positioning and the enemy team just wasn't in the right position to get away from my Bob. But there are certain maps I would recommend that you guys use Bob more on, because there's certain maps that have an open area, like a checkpoint map. I would not recommend using Bob on maps like this you see right here in Havana, where you have to use payload. Any map like Paris and Ilios, where you have to take over the objective, Ashe and Bob would be a much better source. So you see, there's really nothing you can do to take on a Tracer. Tracer is a complete counter to Ashe, and you really need to stay away from her. Ladies and gentlemen, that is about it for this Overwatch guide. I hope that you guys did find it useful and you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you pop a like, comment, and subscribe to WM Entertainment. Your support is 100% greatly appreciated. And as always, I will see you guys in the next Overwatch video. Thank you all so much for watching. And once again, thank you for watching.